Aloha kakayaka means good morning to you on this beautiful Memorial Monday. So today is a day that really is a day to really give thanks to our veterans who really gave us this life called freedom. So take the time to give your blessings and always remember to put them in your prayers, wish them, and thank them for what you have. It's part of life, which is called gratitude. And so finally, I don't know about you guys, but this heavy energy that happened during this course of May is finally ending. The eclipse season is finally over. And so you're going to find this new lift of energy. And believe me, May was something else. If it wasn't this, it was that. It was this, and I was even there. You know, I got calls saying that I was there in Beverly Hills when I'm not. And it was kind of crazy this past month. It's actually April and May. So finally, this long wave of energy that was really taking up a lot of our time that we didn't even signed up for. Well, for me, that is. But I kept on going. Even though how tired I was, my assistant wanted to have meetings. And I'm like, you know what? I am so burnt out. You know what to do. Here's the list. And so that's the great thing about it, is that communication is so important, because when you go through this heavy stage of things are just getting thrown at you, you really don't want to use, especially during the Mercury Retrograde, which is also ending June the 3rd. And so a lot of these things are just kind of ready to just end. And this is the end of literally the eclipse season and the beginning of a new lunar cycle. So this is like the new fresh energy starting next month. And you know, the thing is that last month, the new moon, there's 3 moons in April, 3 moons in May. And so when you have this back to back energy, which is like really, like I said, shaking and rumbling, it really take yourself off balance. And that's why we need to always do preventive care. And when this off balance happen, it really weakens our system, our immune system, you know, and things, you just kind of feel very stuffed up. Like the last 2 weeks ago, I really don't know what happened, but there was something airborne, which I had to like literally pull my nose because it was like clogging up my sinus and giving me this migraine headache. And, you know, you can see it for yourself if you're on my Facebook, that like the side of my house was burnt out, my plants, and this side of the house also burnt out. So there is things that we can't even see, you know, which is airborne, which is things that it's there, whether it's on us or whether it's on your pet. And don't forget to check out our Miracle Micro Bubble System, which help detox your dog as well as yourself. It's compact, and guess what? It's eco-friendly, use no electricity. So don't forget to click below to find out more and get your free Itchy Stinky Dog Guidebook, because it's really, we need to breathe fresh air, and with that fresh air comes fresh energy. And that's why this new wave that's going to start to happen is time to really step up our game and really start to heal yourself naturally. And when I say that, is really taking care of yourself, because we went through this fogginess of, our thoughts, especially during the end of Mercury retrograde, when you have all of this fogginess of things that does happen, especially people who are very, very sensitive. And so I'm just giving you, what I go through, so you can maybe help those people who can understand, like, why am I feeling this way? And it's easy to just really, things will take you down. But we have to always remember to discipline our mind, right? Because it's so easy to change our thoughts than to change our emotion, right? So, we are creatures of literally emotions and like any other creatures. And once that emotion sets in, is because that emotion was created with our thoughts. And so we have to start to really guard your thoughts, and really, there is a saying that really nothing can harm you as much as your own thoughts. So you need to really look at your thoughts and how you guard it, because that sets off the tone on your emotion and how it's going to react. And I'm using this, heaviness that we are experiencing is because these thoughts of really bringing up things that we need to detox, because if we bring it into a fresh new start for ourselves, it's only going to drag us down. It's going to pull us down. It's going to give you that weight to pull down, because sometimes it happens in life, right? When they said misery loves its company. And so really, this is a time when you really look back into the gratitude, just like today, right? Have that feeling. It's only just not Memorial Day. Wake up with that gratitude and that bliss. If we wake up the way we wake up to start the morning, really the breath, our lungs is going to start breathing the power of how we bring our thoughts, our speech, our expression of ourselves. Really the language of love, and how to stay positive for that day, because there's so much negativity. And as the saying goes, negative energy is 9 times more powerful than that positive energy. And so really, when we start this, because everybody goes through this beep in life, this bunch of poop. And some of us needs to literally bring it out to court, like what happened between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And so, I was going to say turd, but Amber Heard. And so things that we didn't even know, that she defecated on top of the bed, just show how toxic that relationship was. And so things on how people really look at things in a very one-minded narrative view, because that's what sometimes the language that we speak, the language that's expressed to us to the media, and the way we literally learn, read, speak, and understand. And for 6 years, Johnny Depp had to live a life like this. I mean, you could see I think he was his bodyguard, was just literally, this man was just crying, and his emotion took over, because that thought of what happened to him and happened to Johnny is something so unbearable. And on top of that, people kept on putting fuel to the fire, and he lost a lot. And why I say that is because that is the exact same thing happened to my client. And literally, how all of that transpired was really, things happen for a reason. There is a reason for a season for a lifetime. And that same really goes with us. It's the same thing on what I talk about. Is really the season of the new moon, which is today, May 30th. And in between it, there's all different kind of things that happens in between. Whether it's the Mercury Retrograde that started and going to finish up on the 3rd of June. And so all of these heavy things happens in everybody's life. And same thing happens in nature. And that's how we revolve. But in order for us to move forward and start new project and start to understand how we can do it is exactly on June the 4th. Is to start to move forward. And sometimes when we make these hasty decisions like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it because of whatever, the peer pressure that we're getting, and later on, people regret what they're doing or what they've done. Whether, for example, like the shot, some people wish they didn't do it. Some people wish they did it, but it's too late, or many different things. We start, and when we have opportunities. And so these kind of things would, if we do hasty decisions and then what happens, and we're not thinking or sleeping on it and how it's going to affect people, this way is like literally a virus, right? And so that's what happened with Amber. She couldn't stop her virus. And so it started to go out of balance, and it started to go out of control, and it starts to believe, what they're thinking and what their first thoughts are, is they start to create that emotion to feel it. And so, is a great example, literally, is this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case that you can see it 24/7 on TV or some kind of media and things like that. And the reason why that they decide to do it as that is because of the amount of things that the platform that's brought out, and it's about really emotions and how emotions takes over and how it destroys other people's life. And so really, a lot of these things are really out there now is because during the closing of 2021 going into 2020 is when we really start to see things like the truth, things like reality, like really, because a lot of things has to do with influencing. And how we see influencing, because it's there in social media, it's there in the media, and it's there in the Justice Department. And all of these are going to start to really make it the forefront. And so really, all of this is really how you see things. This is the time to start to kind of change it, because it's been 2 years. And during the 2 years, I think there is a lot of people out there that really, really changed the way they feel, their thoughtfulness, really, and how they saw life. All of us got so much smarter and brighter because we start to understand that, hey, it doesn't matter this disease called, you know, COVID that hit the market. And whether it is a disease, because disease is created by the unease of the community. I don't want to go there because it's going to be a huge another segment on that. But I want to focus because this month, May 30th, is a new moon where we have to look into really the youthfulness of ourselves and how we carry ourselves and how we take care of ourselves, how we want to do certain things. We want to live our life. You know, no matter how much they say, oh, you got to be careful because it's Mercury Retrograde. But this is a time and power that you have to listen, because this is a time of power where you need to slow down, be conscious, be alert, because there's a lot of things that going to influence us the way we talk, speak, and most of all, get angry about. And so grapple yourself together, which means really your willpower. What is your willpower? What is your mental power? And what is yourself deepen yourself? Because really by doing this, in order to tap into this willpower, mental power, and deep understanding of yourself, you have to calm your monkey mind down. In order to be able to see your mind, your breath, because that's when you start to see your really inner architecture of yourself. And so this new moon is a lot to talk about, because this is a new life force that's going to come into us. And this is really a special force that's going to be happening, because it started to move. It moves every 12 years, okay? And so it's like a vortex. And so you ask yourself, when this happened, when this energy moves, June of 2010. What was going on around that time? And thank God for Facebook and our smartphone. You can look through that and use that as a guide. I know what happened at that time is I opened my first store because I was doing all these trade shows and I was getting burnt out. And so I opened my first store on Queen Street called Kaimanahale. And it was really a cute little pink house where kids used to come in and say, oh, this is like a candy shop for dogs. And it was that happened during this vortex of this life force that moves you to certain direction. Then the next one is January 2011. Think back. So when I think back, 2011 is when I moved from Queen Street over to Kapilani Boulevard to expand literally my Minico micro bubble, because during that time, you know, you look at things and there is a reason for a season for a why. And that's why I always say that when you look at all of these things, because what's going to happen is literally during the new moon, which is today, and it happens only every 12 years or so because the way it's lined up or a certain way, it echoes up this vortex because you need to go upwards, right? And so once the certain, and that's why I focus on your words and your thoughts, is because the words that you use will really start to manifest itself upwards, right? And from Kapilani Boulevard You know, a lot of things happen because it does, because I had like 5 people pass away that was so dear to me, and I just closed it down. I was completely burnt out, went on my 2nd car accident, and it was time for me to heal. And some people who don't know will say things, negative things. Oh, she failed, or she did this. No, honey. My vortex went to another level. Okay? And that another level turned me, was supposed to be 6 months, because I didn't go looking for that job. That job came to me, and they asked me 3 times, and, I end up living in Beverly Hills. Thought it was 6 months, turned to literally 5 years, and now it's going into my 7th year. And so with that, there is reason for a season. And, there for 5 years, came back because of the COVID, and here I am making my Coco Jour, and this year is my 20th anniversary, right? And so the vortex is again rising from Beverly Hills to worldwide online courses of everything that I compiled in the last 20 years. And so this is what I'm saying, how life forces moves you to a certain direction if you pay attention. Literally paying attention to your surroundings, literally studying about, astrology, or the way that nature moves, or your natural surroundings, or whether you believe in feng shui, or whether you believe in astrology, numerology. The list goes on, and whatever you believe in is what you and nobody else but you create that place. And so when I say this is the ending of things that happened during that course from January of 2021, okay, that expansion of your life, which really, where I open my store out on Capilani, right? So it happened like the midst of 2010, Queen Street, move on up to Capilani, and from there, I literally got scouted to go move up there, got back into my consulting job, and working with Lily, a very famous person. And that I didn't know was going to take me to certain level of, and that's another video about that life. And so when I say, this is so weird, this vortex is happening is because it does happen. And the reason why I laughed about it, because I had this dream, and it was in 2017, and I fell down, and huge bump on my knee. And anyway, so I had to go and get it drained out and stuff. So I was on painkiller, and I don't like to take medicine because it trips you out. So I was on some kind of painkiller, Vicodin or something, and I had the meanest trip, like, whoa, and I was in this vortex. And in that vortex, vividly, I remember what happened. And it involved my client and his wife and and everything that was around it. And I was there, and I was trying to move myself upwards, and then this snake came in. And so it was such a disturbing dream. And now that I thought about it, because we're talking about vortex, I finally understand what all of that was. And so, Lily, it's things like that, because, the thing is that part of when we do this exercise during the new moon and the full moon is we go back into our Rolodex, because our mind, our soul, our spirit of what we experience is really a Rolodex of your life force. And so now all of this is really, just put a place mark, and a clean place mark, something that is fresh, something that is new, because if we put too much things and focus on what is going to happen, why do I need to do this? If you question, guess what? The energy that you put in is all these questions of negativity. And so and that's why we say when you plant your seed, like what I'm going to do today, because I got a whole bunch of worm casing that cost me $45, but it's worth it because it's natural fertilizer and it works. Anyways, and so, really the new moon is when you plant your seed, and I use it the way I see things is in my garden, and the energy that we put in really gets you connected. And that's what we need to do for maybe then, really start to put it in our schedule. And I have it like every day, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day, to go out in my sanctuary, to go out to my garden and literally smell the flowers and see it, touch it, see what's happening. Like something is wrong with the air, something airborne. That's why I have to pull my nose, because of, there's something, and it happened. So you get very, very close to whatever those groundworks of things that's there, because it is groundworks that we just have to look at it, right? They're like stepping stones to have us really focus and dive into what we strongly believe, what we are determined to do, and really give us that fighting spirit, the Yamato Damashi spirit, as we say in Japanese. And it's an undivine spirit where your vision becomes into your confession of what your ikigai, your purpose in life is. And so this is a long video, but because of the powerful energy that's really coming up, literally today, the new moon on May 30th, use that energy for the next 3 days. Plant a seed, buy an orchid, because anything to do with roots will root you down to what your new beginning is going to be. And so this gives you a heads up, because all of these things that happen, because there's too much things that happen during the course of the eclipse, is these energy that really reflect. Like for me is I have to reflect on certain things that happen that really took my time, really de-engaged me on my thoughts, mind frame, and focus to see what and why it happened. And so things happen for a reason. Examine it. Don't run away from it. The more we run away from it, you'll never understand it and get to the next vortex of level in your life that is awaiting for you. So once again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel right here at Kokojor. And don't forget to check out our Itchy Stinky Guidebook, as well as our website at kokojor.com, where you see our individual course as well as our business course, and how to detox your dog from the inside out. Plus, we have affiliation. And so the affiliation will really, all you have to do is sign up for free, get your code, and spread the aloha. The new way, the modern way, and most of all, the eco-friendly way to take care of really preventative care for your dog as well as yourself. So Once again, the new moon is here. Write down your intention. And if you don't know and need some hint, check out my other YouTube video, which will give you a huge guide on how to do it. So stay tuned, and most of all, stay safe and aloha.